birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.
Starbase 1552 Comics. We sell everything a collector would want. Comics, Funkos, action figures, and so many more. A real American comic book shop. We are online only. Starbase 1552 Comics. Find us on eBay Auctions.
Ladies and gentlemen, the playoffs is here with Goat Locker for the Crusin Classics Next Gen Series, the very first race in the playoffs for these guys. I'm telling you right now, what a better place to be. What better place to be, I should say, than right here at the home of the Brickyard, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Good evening, folks. I am the redneck announcer, Jake Reeves. Got the Australian Biggles, Dean Hopton. Going to be up here doing a little bit of double duty, give you a little bit of commentary, and also giving you some of these fantastic camera angles that you're going to see before you here this evening. But, folks, we had a week off last week, which was a good time for everybody to get a chance, kick back, reset, spend some time with their families. Now we're back at it for the next couple of weeks, and we'll check out the schedule right here. Actually, you know what? Screw it. We'll go with the standings right here. There you see it right there. Brandon Evans, he's up at the top. He's really been, I guess you could say, lights out pretty much all of this season. Steve Tucker up there with Patrick Drabick. Make sure I get that one right. I've heard some hell from that one. Jamie Barkus up here with Mark McCreary. You got Jake Ellison, George Joel. Shout out to Shasta out there in the chat. Good evening to you. George is in the playoffs along with Scott Formosa, as well as, I believe, I'm trying to get these other names right. It's a little bit blurry on my end, but I mean, there you see right there with everybody on it right there. Alan Marshall and Joe Hobbs. Those are the two key names that I have seen throughout this season, especially with what happened last week at Kansas. Marshall and Hobbs, both of them, very, very lucky to squeak into the round of 12 and have a shot to try to run for a playoff. And then, folks, we'll go ahead and throw you to now the schedule, which is what we're going to be looking at. This is the rest of the season, pretty much. Right here, we got Indianapolis. Then we got Iowa. That's only 2 races in the round of 12. Any of you that are familiar with any of the NASRA truck races, especially right here in the playoffs with the DSR Electric Truck Series, you do know that we run 2 races in certain rounds of the playoffs. So this is kind of a NASRA format, but basically just from the start all the way down to the end. You got Iowa, then you got Homestead, Richmond, and you're going to cap it all off on May 8th at the Phoenix International Raceway. But Dean, I got to bring you in right here because obviously, Dean, you know a lot about the open wheel side of racing, and obviously now we can't say Indy cars now on our racing and not get kicked in the pants. So here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, I know you know this place. Give us a little bit of idea of what we're going to be looking for.
I love this place, my friend. Welcome everybody. Of course, it's the Brickyard. It's the famous one. Remember the Formula One even used to go back here because there's an inside course, but of course we're not doing the inside course. And if I say course one more time, I'm going to be coursing myself. Welcome everybody in the chat there as well too. Question for you: how many bricks are actually laid across that start-finish line that we can see currently at the moment there, Jacob? But before we get into all the trivia, of course, and one of the greatest motor tracks in all of the United States of America for the Goat Locker Crusin Classics Next Gen Series, Jacob, we had to find out who is going to be on pole.
Absolutely, and basically he's trying to go back-to-back. He won at Kansas. He's going to see if he can try to do it here at the Brickyard. It is Ryan Pendleton on the pole. Right beside of him, a playoff driver in the 24 of Steve Tucker, starting on the outside of the front row. Patrick Drabick and Brandon Evans, a couple of other playoff guys up here in the top 4 with Jamie Barkus and Mark McCreary, also playoff drivers with Scott Formosa, Joe Hobbs. Seems like all the playoff drivers, 7 of them starting in the top 8 right here, going to have a shot right here very, very early on. And then Brian Provo is going to start 9th with Brandon Barrier. Shout out to the Brandon Barrier Racing YouTube channel out there giving us a shout out. He's going to be starting in P10. Cody McElwain's going to start in P11 with Bobby Germain starting in P12. Jake Ellison, a playoff driver way back here around mid-pack towards the back actually. He's going to start in P13 with Jason Taylor starting in P14. Dougie, we'll talk about him later on in the evening and also tomorrow night in the Veterans for Life ARCA Series. He's going to start in P15 with Alan Marshall, the last guy on that playoff bracket. He's going to be in P16. Robert Barber is going to start in P17 with George Joel out there starting in P18. He's the last driver to take a time. The rest of the guys on the grid: Chris Sawyer, Tanner Bethea, Tyler Justice, and Eric Martinez. That is the 22 drivers that you will see out here tonight. 2.5 miles, 4 turns. Very, very, well, not as banked, I guess, as you could say. Obviously, if any of you have seen any of the Indy 500 testing that was going on today, obviously, you know exactly where the hell we're at. Obviously, right here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But Dane, I'm telling you, you was talking about the bricks right there at the start finish line. I ain't got a clue. I'd have to actually Google that because I have absolutely no idea how many bricks is across that start finish line.
Well, I guess everybody out there will know that, perhaps. That Ace, of course, Ray, welcome, of course, Ray's to support both the family members that she has in there, Dougie, of course, as well as, Dougie and Jake, yeah, there it is. God, I'm a little rusty on this one because I'm nervous, my friend. It's IndyCar. I mean, they had how many people here? 50 to 60,000 people for the solar eclipse just recently this week as well, too, at the Great Brickyard. So, I mean, this is not just about motor racing as well, too. It's about whether or not you can see the sun blocked by the action you're going to find on the track at the moment soon, Jacob. There you go. I don't know why I pulled that one out of.
Yeah, I don't even know where you went with that one right there. I mean, I didn't even know there was that many people here for a solar eclipse. I mean, I knew that was earlier this week, but everybody piling up at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to check it out. But here we go. Pace car is off. Ryan Pendleton seeing if he can try to go back-to-back here for the past 2 races in the Crusin Classics Next Gen Series. Folks, strap in. Pull them belts tight. Green flag is in the air. We're playoff racing here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. Ryan Pendleton down on the bottom, Tucker up top. He's got Evans all over the back bumper, basically pulling a little bit of bump draft. Now Pendleton almost comes up and gives Tucker a little bit of a door bang on the outside. Side by side, wheel to wheel for the lead as Evans tries to see if he can pinch Dravic down on the bottom. But now, here comes Evans. He's going to try to get some draft. Tucker goes to lead. Evans now going for second.
This is absolutely fantastic. You usually see the leader just gets so much of a jump when they get the green call. And this time around now, he hasn't. He's got the pressure. Ryan has dropped down. And Brandon's got side by side. There's your door banging already there, Jacob.
That is some serious door banging. There's still door banging. Pendleton almost ends up getting turned around, but he's got to think different about all of it. Had a hole, he's going to slide in right in front of Dravic. So Evans, he's going to slide up to the second spot. Pendleton started on pole. He's going to go back to third. And looking back through the field, nobody really making a huge amount of gains. But you see some of this battling going on back here with Joe Hobbs, trying to see if he can hold off Barrier, trying to hold off Provo, McElwain, Jake Ellingson up here, obviously starting in the 13th spot. He wants to try to get as many points as he can. Look at some of this bump drafting we got back here with Taylor trying to give Jermaine all he can handle going into turn 3. Everybody on the binders trying to slow down as much as they can, not try to overdrive the corner because, Dean, you know as well as I do, these turns, especially coming off a 4 and coming off a 2, that wall would jump up and bite you in a hurry.
That's what I'm saying out there, ladies. Gentlemen, if you have ladies out there, buy the wall some flowers, take it out for a nice dinner, okay? Because if you get in an argument with that wall, woo, you're in trouble, my friend. You're sleeping on the sofa. In fact, these drivers will be sleeping at pit road if they get it all wrong. I've seen this. I haven't even left this track there, Jacob, because I was here just the other day casting for another league. So it's Indy 1 and Indy 2. I'm loving it. And these drivers, well, once again, you got to take it easy, take it cautious. There's a lot of laps to get under your belt there and be very patient. But Steve Tucker at the moment holding on from Brandon Evans.
Yeah, and I'll say this, Dane, I mean, if you've been here for this long talking about taking somebody out to dinner, wonder if there's a good steakhouse around here anywhere. Obviously, for a redneck announcer, I love hamburger steak, any type of steak, ribeye. Hell, I'll take any type of steak. Anything with meat, to be honest with you. A little bit of beef, if you will. Anything with beef, that's the way that we'll look at it. But Evans still up here trying to see if he can reel in Tucker. I think Evans probably just trying to ride right behind him. Maybe just go ahead and save his stuff. Dravic back here as well. That's one of these things about this track, folks, is that you'll see some crazy restarts. You see them coming off of the backstretch, especially on the restarts. But then once the race starts to get settled in, this is typical Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's more like basically what we went to earlier on in the season when we went to Pocono, pretty much. That's basically what it is. It ends up getting single filed out, And then at that point, it's just guys trying to draft, guys trying to slingshot, get runs, and try to sneak past people. So if your guys like, say, Jake Ellenson back here from Milwaukee, way back here in the bag, he needs to try to find out, he needs to try to pull some kind of strategy, try to do some drafting, try to see if he can slide up here past these guys, because obviously, as you just see it right there, it's single filed out, everybody's down on the bottom.
Absolutely correct there, Jacob. You know it as a racing driver, of course, and the podcast. So catch Jacob, of course, on Monday nights. As you can see, Patrick trying to catch at the back there of Ryan Pendleton, who was down 2 places from the pole position, but still in this one. Saving those tyres and saving a little bit of gasoline, perhaps, because we don't know what's going to happen with that pit stop strategy. And it's all about maintenance. It's all about getting a feel for the old brickyard there. And because, trust me there, Jacob, and you know for a fact, and keep your eyes peeled out there, later on this race, they're going to start tank slapping those walls out of turn 4, I think it is there, Jacob, or one of those turns, of course. But anyway, there's a wall somewhere, Jacob.
Oh, come on now. You got to know. Hell, you've been here all week. Come on, Dean. You've been around here in Indy. I mean, I agree with you 100%.
I didn't have my Premier setups with me.
Yes, you need to get them Premier setups. We'll talk about them here in just a little bit. And speaking of the Premier Racing setups, check it out. Evans up here with the Premier Racing setups, number 39 Chevrolet. Trying to ease up here, get him a spot right here, right in behind Tucker. He's reeled him in very, very quickly. Honestly, folks, him and Tucker, both of these guys, 1 and 2, have separated themselves from Ryan Pendleton by about 1.5 seconds right now. As you look back here in the back, there you see Pendleton. He's got Drabick and Mark McCreary. McCreary, honestly, yes. Well, I mean, Drabick was thinking about it, but McCreary, I wanted to talk about this for a second, Dean, as we do have a little bit of action going on back here in the back. McCreary has really been one of those guys that I've watched this season.
Oh, there it is.
What we got going on now? Evans going for it. We'll end up getting back to McCreary in a second because Evans is trying to basically try to shut me up right now and go ahead and see if he can take a stranglehold, get up here and try to get this lead. But for a second, he had a shot. Now back here on the back, Michael Wade, he's going to take a shot. He's going to try to see if he can get around barrier. Not able to do it. Jake thought about trying to see if he could jump past him, but in turn, Jake ends up jumping behind him.
We're a little blinking at the moment. We don't want to have that. We have multiple battles on the track absolutely everywhere at the moment. Gentlemen, when they say start your engines, choreograph your overtakes, please, because I only have one camera at one time. I don't want to miss the action on the track, but we will have to switch it around a little bit because Steve Tucker is battling it out with Brandon Evans. It looks like we may have a driver that's blinking all over the place at the moment. That could be Brandon Berrier. Unfortunately, Jacob, you know what happens when you get the blinking light of death. Unfortunately, your connection to the internet world is not the best to show. Here we go. Battle for P1. Brandon up 3. Steve Tucker, P2.
Yep, and Brandon was actually able to get around Tucker. Now Tucker's trying to see if he can put the momentum, or put the pressure rather, on Brandon Evans. Tucker gets a little bit of a draft going into turn 3. We'll see if he ends up trying to suck up to him and have a shot to try to get around him. Tucker sends it in big time deep. Evans actually lifted a little bit. He's going to get a good drive off the corner. Tucker's not going to be able to get back to him. So now Evans has got that clean air, Dean. We've talked about this, this next gen car, how this car is. You want to make sure that you've got the clean air to be able to get out there, not have to worry about getting in dirty air and start making that car aero tight and make it slide up the racetrack. So Evans able to get around Tucker, getting that clean air and make it work, and that's exactly what he is doing right now. Evans up front, he's got around Tucker, but back to McCreary. I wanted to keep talking about this right here for just a second as everything is basically kind of calmed down, I guess you could say, as now McCreary's actually blinking out there for a second, I believe.
Stop to cut you off again. Sorry, keep going.
But McCreary's been one of those guys that, we've watched this season. He's really been very, very quiet, honestly, Dean. Usually you end up seeing guys come in at the right time. You want to be able to peak at the right time, especially with these playoffs. And McCreary up here sitting in the 5th spot. Perfect timing right here for him to go ahead and peak. Obviously, Kingsport, Tennessee, in the number 83 Chevy. Mark McCreary, watch out for this 83. I've got a feeling this may be a long run for him to go through the playoffs.
There you go. So Mark will be very happy at the moment. He's going to go back up to Steve Tucker. So there you go, Mark McCrory. You got one from the redneck announcer. Oh, I love how close they get to the fence. They're going to get closer and closer and closer at the moment. Team Red, the PRSsetups.com there, the Camaro, the 39 machine. You're asking about who was blinking before. Thank you very much. See, the chat's already on top of this one there, Jacob. Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. We love you out there. And we're loving lap 10, almost to be lap 11, 71 to go. And these two, my friend, are going for it tooth and nail, Jacob. They ain't got no beef yet.
No, not really, but I think one guy may end up having a little bit of beef, I guess, with the internet is Ray Ellison. Shout out to you out there, Ray. She called it out damn near spot on. Was talking about Brandon Barrier as the blinky one. Guess what? He ends up lagging out. Now he's 2 laps down. He's got to see if he can try to figure out how to get back in here. So like you said, shout out to every single one of you out there in the chat, all 22 of you. Love you, mean it. Happy that you are here for a Wednesday night starting off the playoffs here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Still a little bit of battling back here. Jake Ellingson trying to see if he can get around Provo. He's been able to get it. Now he's got to see if he can try to reel in Cody McElwain. Ellingson finally getting himself back up into the top 10, but we're keeping an eye on this battle right here as Evans got around Tucker. But now Evans has really not pulled away as we really thought he was going to end up doing. Tucker's been right on his back bumper, still putting the pressure on. Lap 12 this time by of 80. Still got a long way to go, folks.
If there's any incidents and so forth from touchwood and there's not, you may get lap traffic coming to play. We know what that's happening. George Hill's battling it out with Alan Martian. I'm going to show that one for a split second. If these drivers give me a second. Oh, they're all catching each other, isn't it? We have a top 4, almost top 5 scenario. I can't switch away from this one. Don't worry about that, Mrs. Jewell. We'll get back to that one a little bit when I get a chance, of course, and Jake as well to show what's happening there. But really, the hot zone's right here, right now, here in Indianapolis there. Jacob.
Absolutely, and we're already getting a little bit of chat out there in the chat box. Shout out if you got any questions for us, anything what's going on. Craig Franklin, he's actually got one for us. What is a full fuel run? And from what I'm seeing right here, Craig, I'm thinking around 55 to 60 laps, give or take, that these guys can run on a full tank of fuels. We're getting a little bit of action right here. We'll get back to the fuel run deal here in a minute. Steve Tucker down on the bottom. How about this? Tucker has had enough. Evans got the lead from him a couple of laps ago. Tucker trying to get it back. Now Tucker's going to go to the bottom. Here comes Ryan Pendleton. Traffic. They're going to take a shot. McCreary, he's going to try to get some draft. He may end up going around Tucker as they go into 3.
What happened to Steve Tucker? That's the problem. Why does he's dropped off big time there? He's dropped like a 1929 stock exchange. That's a couple of places just drop, because you talk about Mark McCoy. Of course, here he is right now, my friend. It didn't take him too long to get up into the hot zone.
Ooh. Wow, McCreary's going to get up and get into the fence. Tucker may have actually pinched him up a little bit. Holy hell, what's this? Jamie Barkus in the 15 takes him 3 wide. Tucker got stuck in the middle. Barkus had to get out of the gas so he didn't clean him out and throw him up into the wall. Holy hell, these guys are getting very, very aggressive right now. But back to what we were talking about Craig Franklin's comments, since everything's calmed down for just a quick second here. I'm thinking around maybe 55 to 60 laps, give or take. That's what we're going to look at, give or take, for a fuel run. But what I think they may end up doing, a lot of guys may end up just go ahead and saying, screw it, we'll go ahead and split it right down the middle. Obviously, an 80-lap race, so I wouldn't be surprised as Joe Hobbs gets into the fence. I wouldn't be surprised to see him split it right down the middle, around 40, 45, and go ahead and go on in and get 4 fresh tires, fill it up with fuel, and they'll be able to make it all the way to the end.
Who needs gasolines when you're pumping on adrenaline right now, my friend? Because these drivers certainly are. Look at this. You got this battle at the moment. You got the 83, you got the 24. You got Jamie just lurking at the background, the 15. He's dancing with the fence, my friend. I told you, Jamie. I don't think you took that fence out there for a nice dinner. If you did, it wasn't a 5-star.
Yeah, absolutely was not. McCreary's going to be able to get by Tucker now. He's trying to hold on for every bit that he can. Watch out for Barkus back there in the 15. He's already showed that he is aggressive, and he's absolutely unpredictable, trying to take it 3 wide earlier with McCreary and Tucker. So Barkus, if he ends up getting a run, thinks he can get down to the inside, don't count him out. I guarantee you he'll end up taking the shot if he ends up getting it. But everything has calmed itself down as of right now. I wouldn't be surprised here in the next lap or so we may end up seeing something crazy happen. But up front, you got Brandon Evans, who's he's like we said basically pre-race, Dean. He's been literally lighting it up all season long. You got Ryan Pendleton up here trying to go back to back. He's sitting in second. You got Patrick Drabick. Hell, he's the owner of Goat Locker. And then you got now Mark McCreary, who just got around Steve Tucker. And Pendleton has now broken my stance at this right here. He's going for the lead. Evans up top. Drabick down on the bottom, but Evans is going to see if he can send it. Pendleton's going to send it almost up into his door as they work into turn 4.
Patrick's smelling red at the moment. 2 red machines up the road. He's like, okay, gentlemen, give me a little bit of room here and I'll sneak on by if he could. Fantastic racing at the lead of this race between the top 3 top guns on 16:65 to go here, my friend. And this is when it becomes exciting, because this is when the tires are starting to chew a little bit. The fuel situation's on the back of these drivers' minds. Who knows what's going on? We're still under green. Jacob, don't look away, my friend. We have a battle for the top 5, 6 cars for the lead.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, buddy, they are absolutely getting it. And wow, Pendleton, he almost lost it off of 2. He was able to keep the car safe and actually had a little bit of a hold where he could jump up and jump in right in front of Patrick Drabick. How about Barkus? Barkus finally sent it. Barkus, I told y'all he was going to end up sending it down there, and he sent it straight up into Tucker's door. Now they're going 3 wide. Tucker gets tagged in the left rear, almost ends up going around. Holy hell, folks, and this is going on for 4th spot right here with Tucker, McCreary, and Barkus. I got a feeling right now we may end up having a little bit of beef right now between Barkus and Tucker, because it looked like Tucker straight up tried to chop the nose, and Barkus didn't let him have it, and he just damn near ended up turning him.
Sponsored by the Redneck Announcer Beef Jerky Company. Get your beef today and tomorrow. If you don't, so there you go. You need to run a beef company, beef jerky. Still, there's the top 2, my friend. Brandon and Ryan have been out at Patrick a little bit down the road at the moment, and then the gaggle of cars you just saw, and the gaggle of entertainment, and the gaggle of the playoff racing we're having here at the Next Gen Series. It's exciting. It's green, green, green so far. Do not jinx it. I'm not going to jinx it, my friend, because this is fantastic racing. Riding on board Jamie.
Yeah, and I think Barkus may have had enough of trying to ride behind Tucker. He's very, very, very aggressive. Obviously, right here, Dean, in the playoffs, these guys ain't playing around. I mean, obviously, you want to try to get in the next round. You want to try to do what you got to do. But obviously, in the playoffs, in any type of playoff format, your A game gets stepped up if it wasn't already stepped up in the regular season. Now, you are definitely going for the top prize. You got to be able to make it through each round, and you got to do what you got to do to try to get there. Obviously, Jamie Barkus knows that he's racing against Tucker. Tucker's been in the playoffs, he's been in the playoffs because he ends up having a win on the season. But Barkus trying to see if he can get around Tucker, being very, very aggressive. It's just stuff you got to end up doing. But when you end up getting aggressive, like Jake almost got right there with Taylor, you end up getting aggressive. Certain things start to happen, and then a little yellow flag ends up flying.
Oh, no, don't worry about it. We've actually gone up to race control there. We've stolen the yellow flag from Barney, so he doesn't have one. So it's not going to happen. And if it does, my friend, what's going to happen is that we're going to make it rain, and there's no wet weather tires. But look at this. It doesn't rain. It's raining with sweat from these drivers. This Gladiators at the moment, this arena, the Coliseum, of course, of Indianapolis, is filled. I smell blood, my friend. And that's not gasoline. This is blood. People want results. People want good racing, and they're racing hard. They're door banging. Almost there, Jacob. Almost. But look at that back here. Didn't get a chance to show that too much there, Jacob, but they are still there. Jake, the other Jake, is there. But further up at the back there, this is where the action still is, and here it is, Jamie on the back tailpipe there. And he's smelling blood in the water. It's called Steve Tucker.
Yeah, he's trying to see if he can get to him, and check it out, Scott Formosa. Haven't talked a lot about him this race. He's finally jumped up here. He's going to take a shot at McCreary. He thinks different of it and drops back just a little bit. And speaking of some of the, I guess you could say, door banging, about the door banging down low, door banging fans. Actually, I got another chat out there, Craig Franklin also chiming in. What nights do you have sim racing on this channel? I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now. Monday through Friday. I'm just go ahead and throw it out there. Monday through Friday, 9 on Mondays and Fridays, and then 9 on Tuesdays as well, and then Wednesdays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern time right here with Goat Locker on the NASRA 360 Racing Network. So if you have not, which I've got a feeling Craig Franklin probably hasn't, get out there, like, share, subscribe it, tell all your friends. Let them know what's going down here on the NASRA 360 Racing Network, because you're seeing some of the best sim racing that I have ever seen on iRacing. And Barkus is getting very, very aggressive with Tucker right now. And right behind him, McCreary. He's getting very aggressive with Formosa. Now McCreary, he's going to see if he can take a shot. Barkus still down on the bottom with Tucker. These guys have been battling their asses off for the past 10 laps, Dean, and neither one of them's giving an inch.
No, not giving an inch and not giving a mile at the moment in the Brickyard as well, too. You called it there. By the way, too, if Jacob's saying this is one of the best racing he's ever seen, this man knows racing 101. So there you have it. So that is a compliment to the league, compliment to everybody that supports everything that the Goat Locker Racing sees for the Cruising Classics. And it's not just that, my friend. We can make it as exciting as we can on the TV screens, but these drivers, they're the ones that put the action in, and they're doing it brilliantly. Let's not jinx it. 3 abreast, Jacob. 3.
Holy hell, what's this right here? Formosa just finally said, hold my beer, and watch this. Send it down on the bottom. Barkus, he's going to get kicked back a spot. Formosa trying to hold on for all he can. He damn near lost it over and won. Formosa able to hold on to it. McCreary back here. How about Cody McElwain? We haven't talked a lot about him back there in that number 6. He's jumped up here and got with these guys as well. It's literally up front. Ryan Pendleton is up here with Evans. Both these guys is literally running nose to tail, but nobody's around them. I mean, the only one that's closest is about a second and a half. That's Patrick Dravick. But this fight back here for 4th all the way back to, I'd say, around 8th or 9th, or really it's 8th, 4th to 8th, that line that you see right there, it is absolutely getting crazy. Scott Formosa trying to end up going down, taking shots at Tucker and seeing if he can make that 80 stick. We'll see if he ends up getting around him, but Tucker's still leading this train right now.
He's trying, of course. He's giving everything he's got because it's the playoffs time, you know. This is, separate the regular season out the door. Guess what? Scrap everything. What you have right now is what you have to get, and we have Green Flag Racing for 24 laps, 57 and change to go. The top 2 is still battling it out, but No Way Ryan's found a way around. Brandon Evans is leading this race, but this is where the hot zone is right now. 50,000 screaming fans. Don't need a solar eclipse right now. You have motor cars on the Great Brickyard.
Here we go, Formosa. He sends it. He's got to get out of the gas. Almost ended up turning Tucker. He's going to end up screwing himself because here comes Barkus. Here comes McElwain. McElwain and Barkus almost got to the inside of Formosa and damn near stuck it 3 wide. McElwain still down on the bottom. McCreary, he's going to try to send it up on the top side. These guys are driving like they're at a damn mile and a half right now. Straight up sending it like they be in Kansas or Charlotte, somewhere like that. And not on a 2.5-mile 4-turn oval, basically a rectangle, if you will, here with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. These guys are straight up sending it. Obviously, it is the playoffs. They're trying to do everything that they can and try to get every little bit that they can. Formosa's tried to send it on Tucker, but he's just not been able to get up there and make a clean pass. I mean, he gets up to his inside. Once he gets to the left rear, if he gets in the gas, he's just going to end up straight up hooking him. So Formosa's trying to find something, try to get some clean air and find a way around Tucker.
We're going to ride on board current at the moment. You give us a little bit of a bird's eye perspective as a racing driver there, Jamie, at the moment we are on board with. Now, you can see the lifts off that are happening at the moment. There is his steering 5th gear, of course, 7,000 K RPMs. Now, what's he going to do? They're battling. He's also, remember, got Cody behind him and Mark McCoy. So this is a train of cars. What do you do there, Jacob? Like, you're lifting. If you break the wind, it's like putting your hand out the window, isn't it, of a car. You're on the speedway. Just the friction is going to hammer you. Somebody's in the pit road. That's Chris. Here we go, Jacob.
Yeah, here we go. I mean, basically, that's all you really can do is just sit back here, wait for somebody to slip like Formosa. He slipped a little bit. Barkus may end up being able to take advantage. Not able to do it. He's just is going to have to fall back in line. Actually, Barkus,
We got
he's going
pit
to hang a
left.
hard left. Here we go. We may end up seeing a little bit of extra pit stops right here. Actually, Evans, he's going to stay out. Pendleton goes in. Patrick Drabick goes in. Barkus ends up going in. All these guys right here that you see before you going in, these are regular scheduled pit stops. Remember what I said, folks. They can go all the way to lap 55, 60, somewhere in that range. But I was talking about they may end up splitting it, you know, right down the middle and going 40 and 40. There is another option because they do have 4 sets of tires. That's 3 in the pits, 1 on the car. So these guys may end up trying to make a little bit of a different strategy and go at a different time. So we'll end up seeing how this plays out and see where Drabick and Pendleton and Barkus end up coming out. As you see, Tucker and McElwain, both of them are slugging it out for a spot right here. McElwain trying to give a little side draft. McCreary, he's going to take it all the way into the pits as well. And right now, still Evans. Actually, Evans, he went down pit road that time. So Scott Formosa, he's going to get up here and lead him a lap. And that's bonus points, Dane. You got to get every point that you can get right here in the playoffs.
Yeah, Brandon's gone down, Mark's gone down. These are the drivers that have elect to go down. I wanted to show the battle that they were doing because they don't care about pit road right now. They're like, who needs tires? Who needs gasoline? We're in Indy, my friend. We're in the playoffs. We're gonna just keep continuing to run this machine until that empty sign on your gas indicator it says nothing. You can go behind the line. You got a reserve tank, don't you?
You can do what you got to do. I mean, hell, I saw it last night in the league race. Just being able to. I don't know where they ended up having their fuel at. They probably had it in the damn fenders for all I know. But they ended up making a very, very long run and ran out of gas coming to the line. So we'll see how all it plays out. We'll see what these guys are thinking up here. Obviously, Formosa, McElway, Tucker, Taylor, all these guys have stayed out. George Joel, he has made a pit stop. So the number 36, George Joel, is down pit road. Joe Hobbs, he has not went down pit road as of yet. So we'll end up seeing when Joe Hobbs ends up going down. Tyler Justice in the 33, he has stayed out. So basically that is your top 5 right now with Alan Marshall right there in the 82. And Marshall, he started 16. He's up here in 8, so he's just trying to see if he can get him something right here to be able to try to figure out a way to get as many points as you can, obviously. But we'll see when these guys go down pit road. Is obviously Bobby Germain. We see him now down pit road. He is now going away. Pendleton back here, obviously we saw him on pit road a while ago. So Pendleton, literally the first car on fresh tires, and he's about 36 seconds back from Cody McElwain, who is fighting it out right now with Scott Formosa for the lead.
You're talking about cruising classics, of course. They're cruising their way around this track, my friend. I mean, you saw the Cruising Classics brilliant ad, of course, for our sponsor. It's just, they're relaxed, of course, in those Cruising Classic cars. These drivers are not cruising at all, my friend. They are speeding on the Speedway. Remember, these two at the moment still should go down a pit road at some point there, Jacob. That's Cody and Scotty. And then you got a little bit further back, Steve Tucker and Jason Tyler. That's where you can see it just on your pictures. And then you see Pendleton is probably the first one that's gone in and out in the P8 position. And they're still staying out, Jacob.
Yeah, in Pendleton, basically, he's just logging down damn near qualifying laps, really, is what he's hitting back here. He's hitting 51.7s. You look at Cody McElwain, who just ended up going past the line. We'll get his time. He's running a 52.9. So Pendleton literally a second faster than McElwain, Formosa, Tucker, all of these guys back here battling it out. Is actually Tucker ended up getting bypassed by a couple of guys that's already made a pit stop, I do believe. Actually, no, Taylor. Actually, Taylor has not pitted yet.
Nope.
Jason Taylor, he's going to take a shot and try to get around Tucker. Tucker may be dropping back right here, Dean. Tucker may end up going to the pits right here in just a second.
I think if you're getting overtaken like that, my friend, you may have, unless you get a nice tow and think you got your crew, your chief, your your engineer on the radio saying, your lap time's okay. Because remember, sometimes you get your spotters out there, my friend. They're crunching numbers tooth and nail, all right? You got basically like an MIT mathematician there working out positions, gaps, remember, where they're going to come back out. Can they get a tow from anybody? This is the Indianapolis Speedway, so you need a tow. Still, at the moment, people towing the lead of this race is Cody and Scotty, but they're getting hunted down big time because those lap times are hurting them.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is. I mean, this track is very, very big, but when you end up knocking a second a lap, it ends up cutting into it just a little bit, I guess you could say. Evans not too far back from Pendleton. Actually, Alan Marshall, he is now down on pit road, so he's went ahead and made his pit stop. Evans, he's right behind Pendleton, so he's not too far back from where he actually is. But McElwain, Formosa, Taylor, Tucker, Hobbs, and Justice, all 6 of them have stayed out. Actually, Justice just now coming off of turn 4. We ended up saying if he takes the option to hang a hard left and go down pit road, he does not. So the top 6 have not made that pit stop yet. Also, Craig Franklin wanting to give a shout out to his best friend Tyler. I'm assuming he's talking about Tyler Justice. I'm just taking a wild guess, Dean, because I think he's about the only Tyler that is in the field. So
hello,
there
Tyler.
you go. Talked about Tyler Justice sitting up here in the 6th spot. Started 20th. He has not made that pit stop
Brandon
yet, but here we
Ryan.
go.
This could be the
Here we
lead of the
go.
race.
Call it, Dean. Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, this could be the absolute lead of the race there, because you got to remember these drivers have taken a pit road down there. Ryan is the first driver at the moment up the road there, 23, that's taking a pit stop. So we do know that the other drivers will have to go on at some point. When they want to get in, who knows? But Brandon took a shot there at Ryan. Didn't quite make it stick this time around there. There have some cars up the road, so we don't quite know if that is a lap car or not, because it gets a little confusing at this point. If you get a little confused out there, we'll try to get our best effort to show you what's happening, because we've had green, green, green all the way. Let's not jinx it. It's fun. Cody's still leading there from Scotty, but this is perhaps the leading pack, courtesy of the pit road.
Absolutely. They are catching the lap car of Doug Ellingson in the number 58. That's exactly who Pendleton and Evans is starting to catch going into turn 1. Evans, he's right behind Pendleton. Now you're riding on board with Brian Pendleton, Columbus, Ohio, in the number 23 Crusin Classics Ford. Wow, I'm telling you right now, awesome paint scheme by Pendleton. And Pendleton, he's going to take a shot. He's going to see if he can try to get around Dougie. Dougie pulls down on the bottom of the racetrack. Pendleton going to go right by him. Here comes Evans. Dougie, class act right there by Dougie to go ahead and let both of these guys ease on by and let them duke it out and try to see which one of these guys is going to end up winning the race and possibly being able to lock themselves in to the next round. So we'll see how that works out, folks. That is how the playoffs end up working here with the Crusin Classics Next Gen Series. Anybody that's in the playoffs, they end up winning the race. They ain't even got to worry about Iowa next week. They are locked in, and they're going to that round of 8. So we'll see how all that plays out right here. You see Pendleton, Evans still battling it out. McElwain up here, he's got Formosa as they work their way off of turn number 4. McElwain stays out. Formosa stays out. Taylor, Tucker, Hobbs, all these guys still staying out on the racetrack. I really thought some of them would have already went by this point.
Yeah, how much gasoline do they have in that tank there? As Dougie, I wouldn't have let him through that easily, Doug. I know Doug's been a sportsman. Oh, that's close. Good. He's talking of sportsmanship. How's that for allowing some space? Tyler Justice will go in currently at the moment from their P6 position. But we have a race, and we potentially have a race for the race lead there, Jacob. Look at this.
Well, I mean, it eventually will be a race for the lead. Evans down on the bottom, Pendleton up top. Pendleton not going to let him have it. Pendleton tries to pitch him down. Evans almost gets up into the damn grass. Pendleton still on the top. Evans down on the bottom. Evans all over that white line. And now they're going to be side-by-side drag racing going down the backstretch. Pendleton got the run off of the corner. Evans trying to get over on that left rear. Get some side draft. Pull that 23 back. That's exactly what he is doing. And Evans, he is going to get clear of Ryan Pendleton. So right here, folks, that is a change for what could be the lead here in a minute. But, Dean, I know we ain't seen one yet. But if a caution comes out right here, it could shake this up in an instant.
Shake it, shake it, shake it like an Indianapolis Motor Speedway. No, don't say that, my friend, because remember, we took the yellow flag away from Barney. He doesn't have one. So what's he going to do? Oh, green, green, green all the way. Hope everybody's enjoying it. Thank you very much. Come on, Ryan. I'm trying to read the chat when I can. Unfortunately, I've got, 100 camera operators to try to put the camera in the right direction. So let's keep the action going, as Jason will eventually go on the pit road from P3. So we're only down Jacob, I believe, to 4 drivers that are still yet to go visit and get some old, you know what I say, fresh boots.
Yep, that's basically what you got right now. McElwain, Formosa, Tucker, and Hobbs. Those are the only guys. Now Hobbs, Joe Hobbs is going to ease it down pit road in the number 2. So Joe Hobbs is going to go down pit road. So now we got 3 guys that have not made that pit stop yet. That being McElwain, Formosa, and Tucker. Taylor obviously down pit road right now, and Ryan Pendleton and Evans, they are going to ease by him. They've already actually eased by Taylor and Joe Hobbs. So there you go. Evans, he's already got up to 4th, Pendleton up to 5th. See this battling back here. McElwain, Formosa, Tucker, all these guys still staying out on the racetrack, not taking that option to go down pit road, because Dean, if they end up going down pit road right here at this point, they'll be able to make it all the way to the end.
Yeah, I think you're right, absolutely. And you know what? They're probably praying a caution too, because if they get their caution and you time it, I mean, you can't really time a caution perfectly unless you can foresee the future as a fortune teller. But you get that a lap or so earlier, you get in and out there, and you're back on the track there, and other drivers will come back in. You are looking solid here for the playoffs. However, you have to be a fortune teller at the moment. I don't know if Ryan's going to be a fortune teller to say, I'm going to beat Brandon for the battle currently at the moment for 4th and 5th. Because we're still waiting for Cody, Scott, and Steve Tucker, the top 3, to head in the pit road.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what we're going to end up seeing right here. Obviously, Formosa, McElwain, but actually Formosa, Scott Formosa in the number 80, he's going to go down pit road right here. McElwain has elected not to go down pit road. Tucker now, Steve Tucker's going to go in. McElwain has not made that pit stop yet. When he ends up making that pit stop, we may have to take a quick commercial break, but we'll wait and see what happens right here.
He's getting overtaken by lap cars. Look at this.
He's a couple of lap cars up here. Yeah, whoa, this may end up getting interesting right here, Dean.
He's from Alabama, my friend. He down the road from you.
Yeah.
But he's certainly up the road from these cars, but they're like, yeah, goodbye, my friend. I don't think Cody's going to fight him, because Cody knows he's going to stretch this as far as he possibly can.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's trying to do. And actually, right behind him, he's got the 42 back here. That being Bobby Jermaine. Looked like he was going to take a shot to the inside. He must have keyed it up. So Cody McElwain, Gilbert Town, Alabama. He's going to make that pit stop. That's going to surrender the lead back to Brandon Evans and Ryan Pendleton. And both these guys have literally been slugging it out for what will be the eventual lead between both of these guys. There you see both of them coming off of turn number 4. Evans, Pendleton right here, and Patrick Dravick. He's way back there, about 4 seconds back from this battle for the lead with Evans and Pendleton, folks. We're going to take a quick commercial break. I hate to do it under green, but we have to. We got to pay some bills. We'll be right back here in just a second and be back for the conclusion of the race.
Ah, we're live. There we go. You wanted it, my friend. You got it. Sorry, Jacob was just having a swig of the old Brewster in the background as we're chatting about this one. Look at this.
Yeah, absolutely. Got the moonshine rocking and rolling here. Here we go. Folks, you haven't missed really much since everything, and we come back just in time to watch Ryan Pendleton smack the turn 4 wall down. Ryan Pendleton trying to go back to back, ends up getting in a little bit of dirty air. It's going to end up costing him a little bit of time. We'll see if he can try to reel him back in right here, Dean.
Yeah, and also there was a big battle further on while we had that fantastic out of course from Crusin Classics. You got to pay the bills, my friend. And it was Jake, Jason, and Scotty. And I don't know what actually happened. George Jewell, my friend. We forgot about that. Sorry. To the missus out there. He's up 12 to 36 machine. Hammering along here. He's like, you know what? You know, it's a regular season, but you know what? It's the time for the Jewel to shine at the Brickyard.
Yeah, the hell of a time for the Jewel to shine right here at the start of the playoffs. We talked about this thing. We talked about Mark McCreary being kind of quiet, really. Obviously, he had a very, very good run, I believe, at Kansas. So that 83 obviously is very strong. But George Jewell has been about the same as Mark McCreary, to be honest. He's been very, very quiet this season. He hasn't made a lot of noise, I guess you could say. As there you see Steve Tucker. Tucker back here in the 24, trying to see if he can work his way back up through here. Tucker actually at a disadvantage. What the hell happened to the 24? He was up there running up inside the top 5. Somehow or another, something happened. He's back here running in 13th.
I don't know, actually. That's something for somebody to investigate out there in the chat, because I'll tell you what, they're paying attention out there, Jacob. I think, if anything, we got pit lane reporters out there, and it's called the YouTube chat here that's supporting the Nazareth Network. We're 526 subscribers. Jake, I remember the other day we were just talking about getting to 500. My friend, we're at 526. It's almost like a lap around the Indianapolis Speedway, but unfortunately, Jacob, well, it is. What do you reckon? We get 36 subscribers to get to the lap 80?
That's a very, very good possibility. I'm actually sitting here. I'm trying to see exactly what happened to Steve Tucker, and it didn't look like he ended up speeding right here. So we ended up taking a little bit of a look. Looked like he was very, very clean going down pit road. Nothing really crazy. Didn't really look like he sped at all, really. Ends up getting in the pit box very, very cleanly. Gets him right side tires. Then ends up going over to the left side. Yes, I got it on fast forward, folks. He ends up gassing out, coming out of the pits. Nothing crazy, really. I mean, nothing happens crazy right here with Steve Tucker when he comes around right here. So I'm not 100% sure as to exactly what happened with Tucker that made him come out very, very behind, I guess you could say, from everybody.
Well, you need a sailboat at the moment to be on board with George Jewell, because, he's from Lakeview. He knows how to sail his way around. Can you sail your way around currently at the moment? Mark McCarry, which you mentioned at the moment, is clearly on point, isn't he? There you go. So that's a great battle. And if he doesn't get on point at the moment there, George, you got Brian up in tailpipe. This is a battle currently at the moment for 5th, 6th, and 7th live.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now we're actually getting a little bit of confirmation on what Tucker's got going on. We're not going to throw it out there just yet. It isn't a live chat, but I don't want to try to throw it out for some of the drivers that may end up listening to the YouTube channel or listening to the live race. I don't want to try to throw them off and try to throw off some of these guys' strategy that they've been doing. But check out Brian Provo up here. Provo doing a pretty good job starting the 9th spot. He's up to 7th, obviously trying to see if he can run down George Jewell. Joel seeing if he can try to run down Mark McCreary. Not too far up the road right now. Barkus up there. We've already seen Jamie Barkus be very aggressive. We're going to see Joel be aggressive. George Jewell down to the bottom. McCreary up on the top side. Joel had enough of trying to ride, son. He wanted to see if he can get him a spot and try to work his way from 18th all the way up to 5th. Holy hell, watch this right here. Joel gets a little bit sideways. Provo, he's in an interesting spot right here, Dean. Do I go top? Do I go down to the bottom? McCreary, he's going to end up getting the run. Joel's still looking down on the bottom. He's going to get out of the gas. He's going to let McCreary ease on by.
Jacob, I go in the middle, my friend, because, if you're door banging, you go door banging left or door banging the right. It'll help you steering to go right. To left, straight, actually, for the 08 machine, isn't it? But then again, you don't risk it for the biscuit. Exit speed 101, but decides to stealth out a little bit. He says, okay, can you see me? Can you see me, number 36? I wonder if you can see him.
End up seeing if he can see him. Right now, Provo's still sitting right in behind him. Obviously, there you see McCreary. Up front, Evans is actually pulled away just a little bit. He hasn't pulled away a huge amount. Obviously, it had a little bit to do with Pendleton. Ended up getting into the wall, just like McCreary and Joel. Joel going to take another shot. McCreary got up into the fence. Joel's going to see if he can send it, go all the way down to the bottom. They're trying to get around the lap car of Dougie, so all of them going to get by Dougie. Dougie pulls a Ross Chastain going into turn 3. Did not lift, but still a hell of a deal right there for Dougie to get out of everybody's way. Good man for Dougie to let everybody go on by and not get caught up in all that, because they were hauling ass going into the quarter. I mean, anybody would have just pulled out of their way. As Provo, a little bit of side draft on McCreary going into one.
Yeah, don't about it, Ray. Dougie's okay, all right? He's just floating to the fence. You know, Ray's like, I told you to buy flowers. I told you to take the fence out for a nice date. So there it is. It's exciting. Dougie's in the mix, but not in the mix that much. Jake is a little bit further down the road from this battle, considering this battle is a hot zone. Still, Brandon Evans and Ryan Pendleton is still about, give us like about the same distance as these two drivers are currently at the moment. But these are three drivers, Jacob, and 3 into 1. Well, we'll find out, won't we? 49 of 80.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I've already seen
Oh,
Pendleton.
Jacob's
He
gone
actually
in.
slipped up. Jamie
Why?
Marcus.
That's it.
I think what they're doing, I think they're on a little bit of a different strategy right here, Dean. I think these guys may end up trying to go for that two-stop strategy, basically like what it was earlier on. Evans, Pendleton, Drabick, all of them guys ended up making that two-stop strategy. So I think this right here is their final pit stop to go ahead, ease down, get 4 fresh tires, fill it up full of fuel. And some of them guys back there in the back, they may end up trying to go to forego that and go with that one-stop strategy and see how it plays out for them.
Jacob knows best. If you don't know best, listen to the redneck announcer there on his podcast. These are the front two leaders at the moment. There's Brendan D. Evans up the road there. Ryan Pendleton. You got to remember, Brendan's gained 3 positions for the 39 machine to lead this race currently at the moment. Ryan has lost 1. He got it on pole, and he's still in a key position to win this race. Everybody in the chat, please, I love it, and I enjoy your comments. We support everybody. We interact with everybody here at the Nazareth 360 Network, but we all now wondering what's going to have that situation. What's going to happen with the pit stops? Because, Jacob, and I don't want to jinx it, we've not had a caution in this race.
Well, I was just fixing to say that because Classic Car 0211 out there in live chat that said Marshall in no man's land, so to speak. But hey, he's gonna get a break, I hope. What? Oh wow! You know what, Dean? I know exactly where the caution flag is. Classic Car's got it. That's exactly who's got the caution. He ended up stealing it from Barney the flagman. I got a feeling Classic Car maybe ease it up there and try to give Barney that flag, give him that yellow flag. We may end up getting a caution here in a minute whenever Classic Car gets up there.
Bobby's hoping for one at the moment in pit road. There's Bobby, there is Joe. So they've gone in. They're electing. Remember, we're going to take an eye on this one because these are drivers now taking their second pit stops in this race. Everybody's taking a pit stop, but now drivers are electing to take the second because you said that, Jacob. Nobody's going to make it go to the end. But Mark and, well, there's George. George out there. So to the missus, can Georgie get the job done on Brian? Or Brian got the job done on George, actually. But this is a battle. But we're going to remember George is still up 13. Brian's up 5. Battle for P4 and P5.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Actually, Marcus, obviously, he made that pit stop now. He's trying to see if he can work around the 2 leaders, Evans and Pendleton. And Evans is going to make that shot. So Brandon Evans, he's going to go down pit road. Pendleton did not go down that time. So expect Ryan Pendleton to go down pit road this time by. He's going into turn 1. So next time around, I got a feeling he's going to ease down pit road.
Yeah, it could be different. It'll be 1 lap later, but you got a little bit of traffic there to deal with. Should be able to just cruise on by. Remember, that traffic's going to be a car unlapping itself because it's already gone down there. So here we go. So Braden's in the pit road. George has gone in there. There you go. Get a little kiss from the missus. It should help you go a little bit faster, my friend. And we'll see when Ryan's going to go down there. Pit road also, make sure you get that stopped in time because, the pit crew, they can't really get the angle. As I can't get the TV angle as well, too, on what's happening at the moment there. But let's see what happens with Ryan, because remember, the battle at the moment currently the lead is between Brandon Evans and Ryan. Here we go, Ryan's in there, mate. Now, explain to me as a racing driver, how do you make this car stop in time, and how do you get your crew to go?
Well, hope like hell you don't end up hitting that yellow cone and going faster than 60 miles an hour. Wow, dude, he was very close. I'm looking at it right now. Did he end up making it? I have no idea how in the hell he ended up making the pit road speed limit of 60 miles an hour, but he hit that line where the yellow cone is at 55. He was coming in there full send, and he ended up making it work. made it end up not speeding. So I have no idea how Ryan ended up making it work, but he
Where's
smoked
Brennan?
he smoked them tires
Well,
big
where's
time.
Brennan? There's Brennan, right? There's currently at the moment the man that stopped up a lap earlier. All right, so let's have a look where Ryan is. This is going to be a little confusing. There's Ryan. Where's Brennan? Oh, my friend.
Here he comes.
Yep. Ryan has him, I think.
We'll see if Ryan ends up getting it. Yes, Ryan.
He got him.
Wow, got a little aggressive going into the
Big
pits.
time.
It actually is going to work out for him, but Evans is up to full speed. Pendleton's still trying to get up to speed right now, but Evans, he's starting to try to see if he can reel him in, but Evans, he's got a long way to go. He's got 26 laps. He's got a long way to go in the race, but he's still got a long way to go to try to get up there and catch Pendleton.
So Brian's in here currently at the moment. We're going to expect the rest of these drivers. Now we're getting that situation again. We have 5 drivers on the track. Jason Tyler leading this race. Jakey is out there in P2. We got Cody, Scotty, and Steve Tucker. So they're the drivers that are yet to go back down. For actually, Tyler Justice in P11 as well. But once again, we've seen drivers stretch this very far before in the past there, Jacob. So I don't know, my friend. 26 left to go. That's a big stretch if you're going to go to the end of the race.
Yeah, it's a huge stretch right now, and Jake may end up going with a little bit of extra strategy because last time he went down pit road, from what I'm seeing, give or take, it was around 120 or 126. It was lap 26, mind you. So that's when he went down pit road. Got 25 laps to go, so he's on 55. So he's at that point of, yeah, he could make it if he's been saving the whole time. So Jake may end up being able to make it right here at the end. He may not end up getting the win. He's right behind Jason Taylor, which Taylor has been putting down a hell of a lot faster lap times than Jake's putting down right now. Actually 1 second faster, mind you. But there you see Formosa try to get around McElwain. But this may end up coming down to one of them strategy races like we usually see at Pocono, Dean. We may end up seeing some of these guys try to stretch it on fuel and try to steal one here at the Brickyard.
Yeah, absolutely right there, Jacob. You can see the Crusin Classics on the back there of Cody's machine here as he's under massive pressure there from Scotty. Both of these drivers that we are looking at currently at the moment have not gone down to that pit road. The last time they boxed was lap 39, okay? We are on, we have 24 laps to go, so we are well deep into this race. But you're right, Jacob. It could be a strategy call, because you remember, you're going into a race, do the engineers and do the drivers plan? They're thinking, okay, there's going to be a caution, right? Someone's doing a race. No, there has not been a caution during this race. Touch wood. So, now your strategy is completely out the door. Now you're stretching the absolute limits of what you could do. How much gasoline's in there? How kind have you been to your tires? And you said that crucially as well too, Jacob. Like, you got to calculate. All right, if I'm up the road there by quite a mile, like, for example, Jason Taylor, can I afford to lose a second a lap? And with 23 laps to go? Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it really depends on how far back he really is. I mean, he's not that... Tucker, he's up here. He's right in about 5th, obviously. Steve Tucker, one of those guys on a little bit different of a strategy than Pendleton is. Pendleton, we'll get an idea of what his lap time is right here. Obviously runs a 51.4 to Taylor's 52.2. So, like he was talking about, Dean, give or take Pendleton and them
Well, do
a
you
lap
math?
faster.
Yeah.
The time he will end up catching, is what I'm getting at. He will end up catching them. But here's the thing: catching's one thing, passing, it's a straight up another thing.
I know. You're right, actually. Good call on that one, my friend, because that exactly catching is one thing and another. But you also have lap cars, remember. There's a whole bunch of other things. Look at that. There's the old Doug stop road, I believe. So these drivers, and Dougie, unfortunately, Dougie running a P18 is going to be lapped by these cars. If Dougie elects to be lapped, because remember, he doesn't have to be. And Dougie did box back in lap 47, so he's got some fresh boots. These drivers have not got fresh boots. Dougie's completely out of the way. Dougie, you're too kind. You're too kind, Dougie.
Are we looking at the same one? Because I didn't actually see. I think that was Jake right there.
Oh, Jake, sorry. It was
I
I knew it was one of them. Sorry. He's still too kind. He's still too kind.
Yeah, I think he's on that strategy right now. I think Jake is literally trying to let
Jake's
some of
back.
these
Yeah,
guys
it's Jake.
go.
It is Jake. Jake's in P4.
That's exactly what Jake's doing. I think Jake is trying to save as much fuel as he possibly can and see if he can make it 20 laps right here. That's a tall ask to say right there, especially here at Indianapolis. 2.5 miles, and you trying to save enough fuel to go another 20 laps. That's going to be tricky. Granted, he has dropped his pace by a tremendous amount, running a 54.0 to the leader, who was running a 52.2. So, wow, he's dropped the pace off big time.
He's done it before. I think
Yes,
the
he
strategy
has.
pays off. I mean, Tyler Justice is going in currently at the moment in pit road, so Tyler said enough is enough. I need some gasoline and some fresh boots, please. And a little wipe in the windscreen there, and a little swig of some Crusin Classics beer, perhaps, my friend. I don't know when I was sponsored. A little bit of the beef jerky, sponsored by the redneck announcer. See, Jacob, I'm bringing this one for you. But let's battle at the moment. Look at this. George Jewell, Mark. Remember, these drivers have boxed, my friend. So they've got what they need to go to the end of the race with 20 to go.
Yeah, I mean, you know, all these guys really, they're out here. George Jewell, McCreary, all these guys basically battling for P10 right now. Actually, they do have Barkus. Actually, Barkus coming off of turn 4, so he's about 10 seconds ahead of these guys. So this is a battle for the 10th spot, but if we end up running into a little bit of an issue where Tucker and Ellingson and Formosa, McElwain, Taylor, if all these guys end up having to go back down pit road, don't think any of them's really going to have to go. Jake would probably be the one that I would really be worried about not making it, because, I mean, his times are straight up gone. I mean, he had it dropped big time. He dropped it down to 54.0, and he finally picked it back up to 53.4. But it's going to get interesting. Actually, we're seeing a little bit of live chat out there from Classic Car. Question is, the fuel and the tire wear.
Here comes Ryan. Sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Right on, Steve Tucker. This is when it comes to new boots and old boots. So there it is. So Ryan making an advantage there. Go ahead, my friend. Sorry.
Oh, well, I mean, I was just going by some of our fan questions out there with Classic Car. Question is, the fuel and tire wear based off data from NASCAR or something else? Okay. This is going to be, I guess, one of those deals where, I mean...
It could be on your podcast.
Yeah, it could be a comment, I guess, on the podcast, because obviously we've seen a lot, you know, Classic Car, to your point, Raiders, we got everything kind of calmed down, Raiders. Evans is going to get around Tucker, so Evans is going to go up a spot right here, go up into the 6th spot. But back to what Classic Car is asking right here, we know how the tire is in NASCAR. Anybody that's watching NASCAR races, they know how the tire is. The tire's too good. We'll just put it to you that way. These guys, not so much on iRacing. The tire will, or there is tire wear here on these next gen cars. There is some tire wear that will end up playing. Obviously, you see it right there when Pendleton and Evans ended up going around Steve Tucker. Tucker's got enough fuel to make it. It's just the tire wear, it's the speed. All that factors in. So that's the difference. I guess that may be where I've got some beef at, is with NASCAR's tire and iRacing's tire. iRacing's tire is better than NASCAR, and Jake Ellingson is not going to be able to save enough. Jake Ellingson at 27, he's heading down pit road.
You called it exactly, Jacob. And Jake has gone down to pit road. Ooh, exactly. There's a lift off. Huge time. Not getting involved in that battle. But that's the beauty of what we have in the virtual world. We can create races where you feel sometimes that it could be 10 times more exciting than the real world. And of course, with the real world, there's a lot more involved than just, let's just switch it up there as a racing admin for a racing league. You know, they got sponsors, they have millions of dollars, they have drivers, they have families, they have everything to contemplate. We don't. What we have is racing and entertainment. And that's why, honestly, at the end of the day, Jacob, and I believe a lot of people might agree, I think that the virtual world of esports is going to, at some point in the future, and this is a bold statement, be definitely as exciting, if not more exciting than the real world, because of the fact that we can switch things around a little bit. And of course, one major benefit is the fact that this driver, flips that car over 1 million times. He's not in hospital.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. As a matter of fact, you just sitting there talking about all that right there. Just a couple of laps ago, matter of fact, we actually had a wreck out on the track that actually didn't happen. So apparently Classic Car hasn't actually been able to go up there and give him that caution flag, but Eric Martinez, he straight up gets loose. Going into, I believe it was turn number 3, I believe it was. You end up saying it. There you go, Dean. You ended up catching it right there.
Well, Barney,
a good man for that one. Actually, yeah, I mean, he was coming off of pit road is what he was doing. They ended up going into turn 3, ends up losing the back end of the car. It ends up stepping out. 16 ends up going around. But check out this battle right here. George Joel McCreary. Both these guys really putting it on, really putting on a show, I guess you could say, that being Joel and McCreary. Both of them right here behind Brian Provo. Really, this is the battle right here. This is the battle that we're basically watching right here to see how this all plays out with some of these guys right here. Obviously, Martinez, he's been able to get back out on the track and use his fast repairs to get back out here. But this is the battle really that I'm watching right here, Dean, with these guys right here. With Provo, Joel, McCreary, and obviously all these guys right here in this little three-way battle, I guess you could say, with a lap car back there in the back.
It is, but there's another one brewing up on the track at the moment. That's Patrick and Steve Tucker. That's a battle for P5 and P6 right there on your screens at the moment. And everybody says, no crash, no cautions, pure talent, 100% talent. You're absolutely 100% right in the Next Gen Series. Here it is, Steve Tucker and Patrick. This is a battle for P5, my friend. And look at this in the background. We got action everywhere.
Yeah, we got a little bit of battling back here. Marcus, Jamie Marcus in the 15. He's come out of nowhere. Here he comes down to the inside. Tucker gonna leave it to the top side and let him go right on by. He's trying to see if he can hold off the lap car of Tucker, trying to see if he can hold on the lap car of Martinez back there. Martinez is gonna fall right in line. So put Jamie Marcus up a spot, move him up to 6th. Patrick Drabick, he's going to go all the way to 5th. Still got a long way to go if we want to try to catch Pendleton and Evans, who is way up the road. Jason Taylor and Scott Formosa, neither one of these guys have made a pit stop yet. 13 laps to go, folks. Who's going to win this sucker out there? Light up that chat out there. Obviously, Shasta saying, let's go 36. Joel. Joel's been doing a fantastic job tonight. I ain't going to lie to you, Shasta. He's been doing a fantastic job in that number 36. See how Barkus does right here with Drabick. Drabick sends it in. Barkus sends it in as well. They're actually leaving Tucker in the dust right here. It's just going to get interesting, Dean. We're going to see if Taylor and Formosa can hold it out right here for the next 12, 13 laps.
I mean, they got to, don't they? Because what are you going to do right now? You're at that crucial point, isn't it? 13 laps to go. Unlucky for some. You've got to go either pit road now, or you're just praying on a caution. And I think they just got to stretch it. But the gaps is crucial, isn't it? Like, how much time do they have? They think they have enough time up their sleeve at the moment. I think Jason has got just enough there. Ryan Pelton and Brandon Evans, remember, leading this race, are cruising on the Cruising Classics. But the times that they've been doing of late, my friend, are only a second and change. Snipping away. That's not enough. This is probably the heated battle at the moment. I think Jamie's going to be thinking about taking Patrick out here. Of course, George Jewell, that's another battle at the moment there, so hang on tight there to the misses, because there's one, Mark McCoy. You mentioned him earlier there, but he's down 4 spots there. But he's been in the battle, and this is definitely heating up. This is where the hot zone may be, unless, of course, and don't jinx it, you get a caution.
Yeah, but here's actually the crazy thing, I guess you could say about this. The very first race in the season, if it ends up playing out like this, folks, we don't know how this is going to play out. We're just fans like you guys when it comes down to situations like this. But think about it like this. Number 80, Scott Formosa. He's in the playoffs. Pendleton trying to go back-to-back. Evans up here running in 4th. Patrick Dravick, top 5. He's in the playoffs as well. Here's why I left out Jason Taylor. He's not in the playoffs, folks. He hasn't had a win this season. He's up here trying to save as much as he can, and that number 44, he may end up having a nub. And we may end up seeing a shocker here tonight at the Brickyard with Jason Taylor. He may end up winning this sucker.
I think so. He's up 13 positions as well, too, and I spoke about that when it was 13 laps to go. So 13 number may be Jason's number. He's 44, of course, on the machine, but he's doing everything he can. I mean, he's lapping, what, 53s. Scott's about 52 behind him. But you're talking about... This is the Brickyard, of course. This ain't no short track. So shaving a half a second or a second a lap isn't going to cut it when you're down to 10 to go, Jacob.
Yeah, they're going to have to really start to pick up the pace, and it just does not look like that they're going to be able to do it, obviously. There you see Joel and all these guys trying to see if they can catch up here, get a hold of Provo. That's still their own little battle that they got going on for 8th. Evans, he's actually slipped back from Ryan Pendleton right now. So Pendleton up here still holding on to 3rd, and he's putting down some pretty fast lap times. He hit a 51.9 last time to Taylor's 53.1. So obviously he is the second faster. Here's the problem. I got a feeling if he ended up doing this one lap, if he had one extra lap, Dane, he's probably going to end up making it work. Because you see 9 laps to go. Pendleton has cut it down to 10.1. He needs one more lap. He's a second faster than what Taylor is running. If he ended up having maybe one more lap, I think Ryan Pendleton may end up winning this race.
Thing is, at the moment, there's one little obstacle you forgot about, the one, Jacob. There's traffic up the road. Look, there's traffic everywhere on this track. So you be super quick. You're like fastest lap, and then all of a sudden the next lap you're like, a second slower. Like wondering why? Well, it's because of these cars up the road. See, and there it is. He tank slapped the fence, my friend. So Jacob, I didn't want to put the camera at him because I feel like I'm cursing him. I have to go back to this battle at the moment there between Mark and George.
Yeah, McCreary, he said if he could try to get up around George. And George Joel, man, he's actually kind of separated himself just a little bit. McCreary got him up to about a second. Still got Provo right here. And don't look now, Provo and George Joel, they are starting to very slowly reel in Steve Tucker up here. Tucker just hit the line there. You see Joel just hit the line as well as Provo. Now Tucker, he's going around the lap car of Dougie. So Provo and Joel, they will end up catching up to Dougie here in just a little bit. But there you see, you're riding on board with Provo. Dougie's the first car that they come to. But that little black dot, folks, you may end up having to zoom in, I guess you could say, on your iPad or what have you. That little black dot way up there ahead of Dougie, that is Steve Tucker. So there is a possibility that Provo and Joel can get to Steve Tucker, end up getting an extra spot. Unless Provo ends up hitting the wall like he just tank slapped it, like he was talking about earlier. He just tank slapped it coming off a 3. He's going to try to keep it off a 4. He's going to be able to do it. Now it's clear sailing all the way to Steve Tucker.
This is when you don't want to be tank slapping the wall at the moment. Drivers are starting to make little mistakes there because they're stretching the absolute limits, including these drivers, of course. Jason Taylor leading this race at the moment. Explain this at the moment. How is this car feeling? Because you remember, last time he boxed was lap 37. It must feel like an eternity away for the San Antonio driver. Oh, he's got a pit road!
Yeah, I mean, oh my
Wow.
goodness!
This is
Jason
huge.
Taylor. He may end up not having enough fuel, Dean. I mean, that's one of the things that we were talking about. Obviously, we was thinking maybe 50 to 50 to 60, but it may end up being less because there is a lot of on throttle time unless you was able to save some gas. So now Scott Formosa,
Yeah, Scotty
is
might
up
be in
here.
trouble.
He's about 2 seconds though. I'm telling you right now, Dean, Ryan is starting to catch up to Formosa, and it ain't hurry. He's
Yeah.
catching him a half a second lap.
You're absolutely right there for the redneck announcer at the moment. You know a lot more than me, my friend. I just started looking at the timing tables and just clicking the camera at the right place. Scotty's getting absolutely murdered by a lap car, of course. And, one thing he doesn't want to get murdered by getting taken out. But Scotty's going to react to this at the moment, doesn't he? He's got to do I have enough to go? 6 laps to go. You can't be, if you've got to lift at coast at the moment, where is the next man up the road? There he is! Right behind him. There's Ryan. Ryan can see him. Ryan's taking his pit stop. Ryan has the gas. He wants to win this race. And there, only problem is, there's the number 80 machine, and he can see him, and he's coming pretty bloody quick.
Yeah, and he's got to see if he can get around Alan Marshall, which actually Alan Marshall in the 82, right behind Formosa. Marshall really, he doesn't look like he's in that big of a hurry to try to get around Formosa. So there may be a little bit of, I guess you could say, maybe of an alliance, I guess you could say, with Marshall and Formosa. There you saw just a second ago, you had Provo, he got around Tucker. Joel's trying to see if he can get around Tucker. We may have to slip back up here in just a second because Pendleton running the leader down of Formosa. Pendleton, he's got 4 laps this time by. And 23 is starting to reel them both in right here. But he's got to be able to get there. But Dean, one thing about this right here. Pendleton, he's getting up there where Formosa, and he's getting up there where Alan Marshall is. Here's the big thing. He's finally caught that draft. You know what he's getting? He's getting a lot of dirty air now.
I thought he was getting beef, but talk us through this at the moment there, Jacob. Go ahead. You're in Ryan's helmet. Talk us through this.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you really want to do is you don't really want to get up behind Marshall right here because if you do, at 23, he's going to start to get tight. He's going to get in that dirty air, and it's going to throw him off. Actually, I thought Marshall may ended up trying to, I guess you could say, try to help him out a little bit, but it looks like he's not going to be able to do it. He's going to let Pendleton end up getting up here and trying to get a hold of Formosa. Now, here's what Pendleton needs to do. Be very calm, be very cool, be very collective. We've already seen him do that a lot of times this season in that number 23. We'll end up seeing if he can try to take a shot. Obviously, Formosa trying to ease down, trying to break the draft, maybe try to block the advance on the inside lane. Pendleton, he's got to be calm. He is on way fresher tires than Formosa, and he took a shot right there. Formosa got a little bit loose, I guess you could say, but he tried to jump up in front of Pendleton, and try to put the block. Here's where it's going to get interesting. We're going to see a lot of blocking going on right here with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, I was going to say, what would you be if you're in Scotty's shoes? No, not too much at the moment. They're going to go side by side because Scotty's got to defend. He's got nothing left in the tank there. All the tires. Ryan's got it. Scotty's got to think about P2. Got to remember, Brandon Evans is just down the road, man, thinking, oh, is there enough time? 3 laps to go, maybe. Can he see him? Yes, he can. I think Scotty's going to be thinking about losing a podium here. Well, at least P3 on the podium. Ryan's got this one in the bag. You called it perfectly, my friend. The lap car's in the mix, but Brandon, he's hunting, and he's hunting. He smells blood in the water. 2 laps to go. Indianapolis, welcome to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, he basically cut out half a second right there on Pendleton when Pendleton was struggling to try to get around Formosa. Not to mention you got Alan Marshall up there as well, basically kind of trying to help him out just a little bit. But there you see Pendleton. He's basically, literally put on the damn loud pedal at this point. 23, he's starting to check out. Now it's going to be whether or not Evans can get up here and get around Scott Formosa. And Ryan Pendleton, really, he's just hoping everybody keeps it clean all the way down this long front straightaway here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Pendleton hits the line. White flag is in the air. Ryan Pendleton trying to go back to back. Scott Formosa trying to hold on to second for all that he can. And Formosa is actually going to get a little bit loose here. Marshall end up tagging him in the back end. Here comes Evans. Formosa almost ends up going around by Marshall. We may have some beef between a lap car and a championship playoff guy. He's brake checking him. Formosa is brake checking Alan Marshall. We got some beef on the back stretch, and he turns him head on into the wall.
That's yeah.
But up front,
go ahead.
Up front, Ryan Pendleton. Holy hell, we're gonna end up talking about that one on the door, banging down low. But here we go. Ryan Pendleton comes off turn 4. Brandon Evans gonna have to settle for second here tonight. The number 23, Columbus, Ohio. The Ford with the Crusin Classics colors on it. Ryan Pendleton goes back to back here at the Crusin Classics Next Gen Series at the Brickyard.
I mean, a little
Brandon
bit of action.
Evans gets second. Here we go. We got a little action.
Little action between George Shaw, I think Steve Tucker and Mark towards the end there as well too. But wow, you got some beef, my friend. You wanted it. It took you a ton of laps to get it done. But wow. At that point, I didn't think Brian was in reach anyway. But what happened? I mean, they lifted off, allowed Brendan to try to take a shot there at Ryan at the end there. Ryan says, no, thank you very much. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I can handle that one. It's playoff time. It's Ryan time. Yeah,
and you really hate to see this out of this, actually, because George Joel was up here. He was in a little bit of a fight, I guess you could say, with McCreary and Tucker. And he ended up getting in that little bit of a spat, I guess you could say, with Formosa and Marshall. So McCreary and Tucker actually ended up getting past Joel, and it ended up costing him literally a 6th place spot out of that whole ordeal that both of them had going on. But there you see Ryan Pendleton. Let's not take anything away from the 23. Like I said, back to back, Columbus, Ohio. He's going to take it and burn it down right there at the Yard of Bricks, right here at the start finish line. Ryan Pendleton, obviously, there you see getting the burnouts done. We'll get you a leaderboard here in just a second, folks, after we watch these burnouts from Mr. Pendleton. And very good drive for him. I mean, he had the strategy that he needed to try to pull off, and it ended up working out for him.
Yeah.
It ended up working out for him. I mean, everything just kind of worked out.
You got Patrick and Jamie on the pit on the main stretch as well, too, on the Brickyard, of course. Short commercial break. We'll be back in just a minute.
Folks, we're back here with the NRE Power post-race interviews. Before we get to that, I want to go ahead give you the rundown of how it all ended up finishing off for the very first playoff race here with the Crusin Classics Next Gen Series at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Ryan Pendleton ends up getting the win tonight. He's able to beat out Brandon Evans for second. Patrick Dravick's going to end up finishing third. We'll talk to those three here in just a second. Jamie Barkis is going to end up finishing fourth, with Brian Provo ended up getting a pretty good run for him here tonight. He's going to end up wrapping up a top five. Mark McCreary's going to end up getting sixth, with Steve Tucker in seventh. Hate to see for George Joel, he had six locked up in the bag, but the whole deal between Scott Formosa and Alan Marshall, he ended up getting a little bit of it, ended up losing the front bumper, but still George Joel is going to end up with eighth place finish after starting in the 18th spot. So still a good run from Mr. George Jules. Jason Taylor, he had a strategy. He tried to make it work. He's still going to end up in P9 on the lead lap. And Jake Ellison, he's going to round out the top 10. Only 10 drivers ended up finishing on the lead lap tonight, folks. Scott Formosa, hate to see it for him. What could have been a damn podium finish tonight. He ends up getting into a little bit of a spat with Alan Marshall. And then Formosa ends up getting turned on the backstretch, ultimately ending his night, but he's still going to get an 11th place finish out of it. Bobby Germain's going to get 12th, with Tyler Justice finishing 13th. Joe Hobbs going to finish 14th. Alan Marshall will end up getting 15th. Eric Martinez will get 16th. Doug Ellison, we'll talk about him here in just a little bit. Matter of fact, Dean, started 15th. He's going to end up finishing 17th. Cody McElwain will finish 18th. Robert Barber, 19th. Chris Sawyer will finish 20th. Brandon Barrier and Tanner Bethay, the 22 drivers in the field and the finishing order here tonight. Folks, we're going to go ahead and bring in the winner. Basically went back-to-back, 2 for 2 right here for the past two races. Mr. Ryan Pendleton ends up getting the win here tonight. Ryan, first off, congratulations. What's it like to win, or what does it feel like, I guess you could say, to win here at the Brickyard?
Oh, obviously this is a special track, whether you're on iRacing or there in real life, which I'm going to get to go to with my dad here in a couple months for the Indy 500, so looking forward to it.
Ooh, Indy.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah.
Sorry,
so,
getting excited. Sorry.
Yeah. Good luck for me tonight. Unfortunately, it was bad luck for my teammate Cody McAway, and I think he had the strategy and speed to pull it off, and unfortunately, it got tangled up. But yeah, I'm glad a Goat Locker car got up here in front, and couldn't be happier as a Cruising Classics Goat Locker car. When they sponsor the series, so happy about it.
Now, I mean, we saw a lot of this right here. You was basically on a little bit of a different strategy. Obviously, you, Brandon Evans, both of y'all pretty much just played each other's hand, I guess you could say. You saw a lot of guys trying to stay out. I mean, we were talking about it. A lot of guys out there, or excuse me, a lot of people out there in the chat was talking about the tire wear and everything else. And I made a comment about it that I may end up getting in trouble for, I guess. But I ended up making a comment about the tire wear that this is not the same kind of tire that you would usually see on a NASCAR next gen car. Would you agree with that comment?
Yeah, as far as how much it wears.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean here you can keep them cool for the most part. Especially if you're in clean air and you're not getting some of that aero tight from running in. That's why I got into the wall there towards the end. So yeah, if you're in clean air, you can take care of your tires pretty well. But they made a huge difference there. You could see at the end the guys that were on the significantly older tires. I was able to run as hard as I could, not worrying about fuel or my tires at that point. So just difference in strategy, and it was close. I'm sure it made it exciting for the broadcast.
It absolutely was. And Ryan Pouncing, congratulations. Like I said, back-to-back races, I guess you could say, here on the NRE Power post-race interviews. And Ryan, congratulations on the win. And before we let you go, you got anybody that you want to thank that made the win possible tonight?
Absolutely. As always, you guys at Nazareth 360, love going back and watching the broadcast. I know everyone in the chat appreciates you, and you guys do a great job putting it on. Obviously, I said them earlier, but Cruising Classics out of Columbus, Ohio, the title sponsor for this series. Huge shout out to them. Jam Printing and Promotions, one of our oldest partners. Veterans for Life Foundation, Right Now Roofing, and Red Beard Design Company.
Absolutely. Ryan Pendleton, congratulations on the win. And who knows, we may end up seeing you next week, buddy.
All right, appreciate it, guys.
Is it just me or the number 23 is always a son of a champion?
Yeah, so that's I obviously grew up late 80s, 90s, so I'm a big Jordan fan.
I was going to say, well, you went there, didn't you? You slam dunked that one, my friend.
Yes.
I got to give him respect, but to be honest, that is my grandfather's racing number, and then I had that racing number growing up, so it's not because of MJ, but that's just a good bonus. But yeah,
see, there you go. Number, so. Tune in at the moment to the Nazareth Network, and you're going to learn why what gives Ryan a little bit more motivation to kick this car into pole position and win the race.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, buddy. That was Ryan Pendleton. We'll go ahead and bring in a second place finisher. And hopefully he doesn't go back and watch the broadcast, because I never said a damn word about the Premier Racing Setups comment, Brad Pickles. I never said anything about it, so may end up having to give them a shout out, especially right here at the end. But Brandon Evans coming home second tonight in the number 39 Chevrolet. I mean, Brandon, what more did you really need to get up there and be able to have a shot at Ryan for the win?
To not almost wreck off of pit road. That smoked my time. I lost 4 seconds. If you go back to lap 53 and watch me come off of pit road, I about wrecked. That bump, I shifted right over top of that really bad bump.
You really want me to show that, Ron?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's pretty entertaining. I about looped it, but
54, I think anyway. It is. Let's have a look.
Yeah, it's 53 or 54. It's right when I came off of pit road.
Here we go, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, I tried my best to run him down. I think I gained maybe a second or
Brandon,
two.
sorry, my apologies. No, I'm the wrong one. Yep. Go ahead, keep talking.
But anyway, so if I would have done that, I probably would have been right there with him. Me and Ryan battled really close the whole race, so that was a lot of fun. A lot of side-by-side action. I always love racing with him, man. He just does such a good job. So congratulations to him and
we're seeing that right now. Look, my friend, you got to keep it straight. Wow.
Damn, Dean, come on.
Yeah,
go ahead.
It was pretty gnarly, man. But anyway, yeah.
Well, I mean, but still, you come into this race right here, obviously. I mean, you've had a fantastic season. You have 4 wins on the season, obviously. Still got to be able to help you out, especially, get you a little bit of momentum, especially going into Iowa next week, because if everything checks out, everything's good right here, you just have a just safe, or basically a safe night at Iowa next week. You're on to the round of 8.
Yeah, I'm happy that the regular season went the way it did with the points cushion. That I could afford to have a race like this where, I mean, still getting second's great, but obviously having a win is better to lock in for the next round. But I was going to be about track position, and staying out of trouble. It's a short track, turn 4 is treacherous. The car likes to bottom out on that end of the track. But it's good momentum for sure. You don't want to have races, especially you can't have 2 bad ones in a row, right? And these are 2 completely different racetracks. So we'll see how it goes. I'm pretty excited to watch it unfold.
Now, watching something unfold right now on our screens at the moment there, Brandon, is this drama that built between the other 2 cars that are up the road there. So the person right up, and you can see in your screen, of course, was Ryan that won the race. But these 2 cars, can you explain what went through your mind when you saw this happen up the road?
Yeah, when Ryan was running him down, I thought Alan was trying to help him just keep pace because he had old tires. What I think happened is he went low. I think Alan was still trying to help him. I think he ran out of gas, and then Alan maybe Alan wasn't sure what was going on, and he ran right into the back of him.
Oh,
so
that's taking you out, mate, almost.
Oh yeah, and yeah, had Alan went right up under him and pushed him up the racetrack, he for sure would have doored me.
I'm telling you, I bet you were glad that you had those Premier setups on your car, because that could have been all pole-shaped.
Yeah, I felt like an idiot too, because hell, I thought he actually turned him on purpose. I thought that's what it was.
Yeah, so if you back it up,
all right, let me back it up.
Smidge,
of course, hey, drivers override the producers. Don't worry about that one. Here we go.
Yeah, now if you back it up a little bit, when this track is kind of funky with the next gen car, if you hit the flat right below the white line, it really over rotates the car. So I think Alan went down low to try to pass him, and he hit that flat, and it looks like he got loose up under him.
He could have turned you into the fence, man. It could have been all over for a PT.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was about as full throttle as I could be to not be anywhere near that. But I mean, well, here's the thing: you can't run I'm trying to chase the leader down. I mean, Ryan could hit the wall and make a mistake, and costing me a 10th or 2 by hitting the wall myself could cost me a win. So I'm trying to stay as close to the bottom as I can, as you see, to keep momentum, because I got my sights. Once I get him next to me, I'm on to the next car. So.
Did you buy the wolf some flowers and take it out for a nice date? That's what I was saying earlier in the broadcast, because
Yeah, I thought, what the hell there in the last lap, and I hit the wall, and I was like, well, I ain't gonna catch him anyway. So y'all been talking about it all night, so I thought I'd go out there and touch it.
Go, Jacob.
Touch it at least once.
Well, appreciate you listening into the broadcast, obviously, Brandon Evans. And Evans, congratulations on that 2nd place finish. And before we let you go, you got anybody that you want to thank that made the 2nd place finish possible tonight?
Yeah, I want to thank Goat Locker, Veterans for Life, Redbeard Designs, Premier Racing Setups. I want to thank Jam Printing and Promotions and Crusin Classics, and then you guys at Nazareth 360. You guys do a great job. Appreciate all that you guys do, and we'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Brandon Evans, number 39, Premier Racing Setup Chevrolet, gets 2nd here tonight. Brandon, appreciate your time. We'll see you next week in the cornfields of Iowa.
Thanks, guys.
That was Brandon Evans. We'll bring in our final podium finisher. How about it? We'll go ahead and bring him in, Mr. Patrick Drabick up here on the number 07 Indianapolis board. How about this right here, Dean? Got the hometown man right here bringing up the rear, I guess you could say. I hate to say it that way, but he ends up getting the podium finish here tonight. Patrick, congratulations on that 3rd place finish. How's it feel to get you a podium finish here basically at your home track?
Hang on, let me ask a question before Patrick can actually answer it.
Patrick, go ahead.
Indianapolis is your home track, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
I live 20 minutes away from the track.
Well, you should know this answer to the question. How many bricks are laid on the start-finish line for the Brickyard?
You're really going to go with it?
I am going with it, Patrick.
God almighty.
No, you don't.
As many as it took. That's how many.
Go ahead, Patrick. Please go ahead. Sorry.
What kind of random craziness is that? As many as it took. That's how many it's laid there.
There you go.
How about your race, my friend? More than how many bricks
That's a
are in the yard?
redneck answer right there. I guarantee you that. That's a redneck answer. But Patrick, what's it feel like to get you a third place finish here at your home track?
Man, it feels good. I mean, I love coming into Indianapolis. Obviously, we just talked about it. I was born and raised here in Indianapolis. I live 20 minutes from the track. I've actually driven on the track, driven across that yard of bricks. So it's pretty awesome. The 07 Jam Printing and Promotions machine was pretty fast here tonight. Kind of lost the lead draft there a little bit with Ryan Pendleton and Brandon Evans battling back and forth. And once I kind of lost touch with them, I just kind of settled in there. And then a lot of strategy played out here tonight between one stop and two stop and guys running out of fuel. And, but I'm happy. I'm super, super happy to kick off these playoffs with a podium finish here tonight, boys.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just mentioned that right there, kicking off the playoffs. Obviously, we're going to go to Iowa next week, which is a short track. Crazy things can happen. We've seen it happen before, especially on short tracks. You never know really what's going to happen. Honestly, I look at short tracks more like a super speedway, I guess, because they're just so damn unpredictable. But coming out here tonight, getting third, obviously, that's got to give you a big confidence booster going into the short track next week.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been a pretty good year so far. Got that win in Atlanta. Been strong at some other tracks. Iowa's a fun track. I love going there in all disciplines of cars. I mean, IndyCar is a lot of fun there. Xfinity's truck. So this next gen car is going to be a blast at Iowa, and I think we're going to put on one hell of a show.
Absolutely. I do believe y'all will. Well, Patrick Trebek ends up getting a third place finish. And Patrick, before we let you go, you got anybody that you want to thank that made the final podium spot possible for you here this evening?
Yeah, I just want to thank myself for being so damn awesome. And
hell yeah, there you go.
Looking as good as
on
I
you,
do.
Patrick. I like that.
Yeah, no, man. I mean, there's a lot of things that make this machine happen here at Goat Locker Racing. You guys are well aware of it. I mean, we talk about it all the time. There's a lot of big things happening in the nonprofit world, and there's a lot of great things happening here with inside the league. But Jam Printing and Promotions and everything they're doing, Crusin Classics for sponsoring this series year after year, after season. Love having them on board and everything that they're doing to help us out right now. Roofing, the Veterans for Life Foundation, Above the Yellow Line with Taylor Kitchen, Redbeard Designs, Podium Esports for what they do for us on Fridays, V-Speed Network. And you guys rock it, man. I love going back and watching the broadcast. I love all the love you give to our sponsors to highlight them and do the good stuff for them. We just continue to grow and build, not only here as a league and iRacing, but as a nonprofit that's out there helping our nation's warriors and first responders. So, and then if none of you have recently, and I don't blame you, gone to the website, it got a complete refresh. It looks awesome. A lot of really great stuff up there. You guys are on our website as one of our partners. So anybody tuned in here tonight, go check out the new website, www.goatlockerracing.org. And a lot of love to you guys at Nazareth 360. I really appreciate what you guys do.
I'll slap
Absolutely.
that in the channel at the moment for everybody to check it out, please. Goatlockerracing.org.
Yes, sir.
I don't, if you can click on it, if I didn't misspell it, Goat Locker Racing. Well, yeah. If it's mistaken, please let me know. But yeah, Patrick, wow, what a job, my friend.
Thank you.
I need some jam printings and
Absolutely.
promotions if I'm going to be racing quicker, right, my friend? P3. You started P3, you got P3. Job done.
Yeah. Good night.
Absolutely.
Good
You
night.
may have to throw this one in there, but also check out the Door Banging download on Spotify. You hear a lot about Goat Locker, everything they got going on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And hell, who knows, Patrick might end up talking to you here in a couple of weeks as a Beer Buddy segment. Never know.
Love it, man. Absolutely love it. Love the podcast and everything too, brother.
All righty, buddy. We'll see you next week at Iowa.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, speaking of that one, Jacob, let's throw up exactly where we are heading next week, my friend. Where is the lovely Crusin Classics taking us in the Crusin Classic cars?
Absolutely. We're going to the cornfields of Iowa. Short track, obviously. Anybody that's been watching any of the races here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network knows that apparently Nazareth absolutely loves Iowa. Obviously, any of you Nazareth guys that are watching absolutely knows that Brady the Buff hates Iowa as much as probably I hate Iowa. Granted, it always puts on a hell of a show, but I just hate racing there. My personal opinion, I've never been able to get a good feel for it. But Hopefully these drivers will love it, and hopefully they'll be putting on one fantastic show, as they always do every single Wednesday night. And that will be the end of the round of 12. After that, we will end up going to Homestead and then going all the way down to Phoenix, which will be on May 8th. Check this out right here, folks. There you see the rest of what's going on this week. Obviously, we want to give a huge shout out to Blanchard's Towing and Recovery. They are the new sponsor for the Blanchard's Towing and Recovery Xfinity Series. They're in the off season right now. They're going to get fired up here in a couple of short weeks on Tuesday nights. Obviously, had Indianapolis tonight. Tomorrow night is going to be at Darlington for the Veterans for Life ARCA Series. They're going to get fired up. And we talked about Dougie a while ago, Dean. Doug Ellingson, he made the playoffs for the Thursday night series, folks. He's able to get in there. He's in the round of 12, so he's going to have a shot to see if he can get up there and get him a playoff spot and try to see if he can make it into the round of 8. And obviously, there you see the Butt Kicker 200 Dash for Cash race on the Friday night series. I'll be back up here in the booth. I've had enough of having fun with driving with them guys down there on the racetrack. They get a little bit aggressive for me, but I'll be up here in the booth with Dean and the Mountain Man, Robert Hill Jr., and obviously next Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, only on the NASRA 360 Racing Network, DSR Electric Truck Series will be at Michigan, and they will be closing out their Fast 14 going into the round of 10. Dean, final thoughts here tonight at Indianapolis.
No cautions. That's my final thoughts, my friend. No cautions. Can you believe it? This is playoff time and no cautions. That's all I can say. Drop the microphone. I'm out.
Yeah, and that's not a shout or let me rephrase that. That's not a shot, I guess you could say, to Crusin Classics Next Gen Series at all. But I mean, usually you just don't end up having that. Usually something ends up happening. You end up getting a restart with like 2 or 3 to go. But they ended up keeping it clean, keeping it green all night long, folks. Thank you very much, every single one of you, for coming out every single Wednesday night, coming out here, supporting the drivers, supporting NASRA, supporting everything that Goat Locker has got going on. Obviously, want to thank all the sponsors, Jam Printing and Promotions. Thank NRE Power for everything that they do as a sponsor. Obviously, Veterans for Life, Crusin Classics, obviously the NASRA 360 Racing Network for allowing me and Dean to come in here, entertain you fine folks every single Wednesday night, and let you get, I guess, ramped up like we get ramped up sometimes as well. I also want to thank Premier Racing Setups. Go over to PremierRacingSetups.com. Enter the code NASRA. You will get 15% off your entire order. And thanks to the drivers for always putting on one hell of a show. For the Australian, Dean Bagels, I am the redneck announcer, Jake Reeves, saying as I always say, be safe, be kind, be fast. And we'll see you out there in the cornfields of Iowa next week.